Hey everybody, it's Henry, and we are here with Talking Up More with Kids. This is our special guest this week, Malia Hartwell, and she has just been, what were you, voted as the ambassador, or did you apply for it? Or
they just kind of chose me.
They chose her to be the ambassador for the youth police...
The police youth program.
The police,
with
Gloucester Police Youth Program with Gloucester U through the high school. So welcome. We're very excited to hear about all this because I didn't even know there was a youth group or associated with the police.
A couple years ago.
Wow. Who started it, do you know?
Caitlin, I don't know her last name, but she's with the Gloucester Youth Council, and she started this whole program, and there's a bunch of things. There's like the anime club, the robotics club.
Yep.
There's like our cycling club. There's a bunch of them, yoga and stuff, and then there's a police academy, which is like you get to do a bunch of stuff with the police officers. It's crazy.
Is that something that you think of going into as a career?
Oh yeah, I want to be in the law enforcement.
Really?
So.
Wow. And that's thumbs up to Gloucester for providing a vehicle for that kind of mentorship.
Yeah.
And so far, so good. Have you been involved in it for 2 years since they started it?
No, I just started this year. My boyfriend was involved in it for. He started the last year, and then I did it. He told me to do it this year, so then I did it this year, and I absolutely loved it. It was like the best thing I've ever done. Tell
me more about what you love about it.
All right, so we do a bunch of stuff. You get to get a tour of the police station, and then. You get to do a bunch of, like, ride-alongs, which is basically when the cops take you in undercover cop cars, and they'll do stops and stuff, and they'll basically show you, like, what it's like when you're in a cruiser. So that was really fun. The first time around, we didn't really have the best experience, and the second time around, we got a really awesome cop, and he was just amazing and so funny.
That's great.
And we also... What else did we do? We went to the juvenile court and got to see around there. We were supposed to go to Middleton Jail, but with all the weather, we weren't able to. Right.
Is that something that you're going to do in the future?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing it next year, definitely.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
And we also did shooting, which you had to do a project for. And then we had this, like, little fair where people, like, parents and people would come in and get a tour of basically what Gloucester U program is. And... that's where I was chosen to be the ambassador because I signed up for it. And the cop who, like, runs it kind of, Officer Scola, I needed to, like, get my dancing off. And so he wrote a letter to my dancing teacher and chose me as the ambassador there.
Wow.
So I ran that. I gave a little spiel on what Gloucester U is and how it gives you, like, opportunities most high schools don't get.
That's so great.
And it shows you, like, for people who do want to become police officers, it shows you a little clip of what it should be when you get
Do you feel like there's kind of a stigma with the police these days in terms of just sort of attitudes that people have around the police and whether they're good or bad? Or
police are awesome. It's just how people's perspectives.
Yeah.
Most people say that cops are, like, racist with the whole, like,
things I've heard that
and they're sexist and whatever, but they're just doing their job. If you're breaking a law or you're fighting arrests, they have to do what they have to do. It's not something they can control.
Right. And I think it depends on the part of the country and the culture and
I know that I'm actually the chief was actually impressed with me. He told the Officer Scola that he was impressed in my work and stuff, so I'm kind of close to him, and from the whole police station, all the police there, they're awesome people. None of them are racist or anything. So
that's great.
So they're
awesome. They're fair-minded, they're balanced.
Yeah. And they're actually really funny. Like
I know. That's one of the things that I've noticed about the force here is that they're really...
The cop we got,
really
I won't say names, but he was just awesome. Like, he would swear, he would let things slide, he didn't even care. He wanted us to have fun and show us that, like, sometimes there's a time to be serious and there's a time where you can goof off, and cops have a lot of fun, they're crazy.
And he wanted to show you that he was a real person, too. He wasn't like, I'm...
Yeah. He's like... One thing he did say, he was showing us pictures from one of the investigations he did of a suicide, And I was like, why do you have these pictures when you're not doing what you're supposed to do? And he was like, we're cops. We take pictures of stuff. So
so you're a photographer. There's an artistic component to being a cop, too. And you get to be a photographer. What are your some of your other interests besides law enforcement?
Well, there's, like, not just law enforcement. I want to go be a forensic photographer. So the photography part of that, I do take pictures during the summer and go on the boulevard and around Gloucester and take pictures. And my whole backup if law enforcement fails is I want to be an author.
Oh, wow.
So
fiction, nonfiction?
All kinds. I like writing romances.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you ever write plays?
No.
You ever think about it?
I actually haven't.
You know, we have a young playwrights workshop, actually,
really?
that we do every year. And this year, the kids, I don't know if you saw our last show, Gloucester Boy, over at the DES Club. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And that came out of our young playwrights workshop about the history of the Portuguese community up on Portuguese Hill in the 1930s. And it was all conceived and written by kids. And after the show, they were all backstage just kind of singing the music from Annie. You know that musical Annie? Everybody loves Annie, right? And then they were laughing hysterically. And I said, what's up? What's so funny? And they said, well, we were just thinking that show takes place in the 1930s. And Annie was like 9 or 10 years old. And she'd be 80 now. Wouldn't it be great to write a play about like catching up with Annie at 80? Like who would she be and what would her life have been like and who did she marry and did she have kids and all this stuff? Yeah. So they're doing it and it's called Granny.
Oh.
And it's super funny and a lot of fun. But anyway.
Have you seen the new Annie?
I have seen clips and I've heard
it is so funny. Right, the first thing when the movie turns on, there's a redheaded girl who's giving a presentation and she's singing and tap dancing and everyone's like so annoyed. And then Annie B, which is the second Annie who's like the main character, she gets up and she kind of gives this like quick little thing and she wings it and everyone like claps for her and she starts this whole beat in the class and it's awesome because it shows like everyone's so sick of that you expect the whole movie to be like the original. Right. But in reality it is, but it isn't.
It follows a similar storyline.
Yeah.
But it's updated and stuff. And the music is more, hip-hop inspired?
More upbeat.
Upbeat. Yeah. Wow, very cool.
So
well, I would invite you to come and get involved as a writer in some of our workshops because, it's so great to see how different facets of this community can cross over. We're an island, we're a small community. Do you think about staying in Gloucester or do you want to go away or?
My original plan was to become a photojournalist and move out to California. And then I met my boyfriend and he wants to be a Gloucester cop, has to be in Gloucester.
Yay, stay in Gloucester, stay in Gloucester.
He wants to stay here, so I think that's what I'm planning on doing is staying here. And I want to be a state cop. She's not too fond of it, but I want to be a state cop because they have a forensic field. So
and that can really support your vision for that's so great. I think that I don't know. Do you find that a lot of young people are planning on leaving town? Like amongst your peers in your age group? I don't know because I don't really have friends, but you will now.
I don't know.
Like, what was your impulse? Let's speak from your own perspective. Then, what was your impulse to leave? Why leave Gloucester? And this is a hard question. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but there are a lot of young people that I'm talking to, teens and even early 20-somethings, who feel like there's not enough here for young people. That there's really
it's not that there's enough opportunities or not enough. It's getting away. Like, I mean, I love Gloucester. I love all the people I know here. We're like one big family together. But sometimes you just have to break apart. And I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to have people, not like my friends, but like old people stopping me saying, no, stay here, do this. And no, you can't do that. Why don't you do this? Because this is what people do in Gloucester. People do building and painting, and this is the Gloucester reputation. I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. Like, most people, if you look at it, they go into business for college. Me, a lot of people do. I want to go into criminology, which is something you don't really expect from a 15-year-old.
Is there something around here? Are there schools around here that offer programs in criminology, like Endicott or others?
I really haven't looked into it, but the college I do want to go to is Stonehill.
Oh,
they have criminology. It's right outside of Boston.
Oh, okay.
They have criminology. They're a Catholic school, and they have photography too. So I could. They have both fields. And
so you can bridge them.
I don't know about Boston college, but I know they have like their major is photography. Like they have the best photography
really good
in all of America. So
wow, that's good. That's a good reputation there.
yeah. So
cool.
I mean, it's like why move away when you have the best school here? But it's at the same time why you don't want to be like I
think every teen at some point wants to break free and do their own thing, and you know, Gloucester, as far as I know, has had this reputation of people leaving and then coming back here to raise their kids someday because family means a lot here, and it's, you know, it's a tight community like you said, and yet right now what it seems like is happening, maybe for the first time, is that the younger generations are leaving or planning on leaving and not returning here, and that's a real shame, I think, because, you know,
it's like one big family breaking apart.
Well, it is, and you hope that the family will come back together, you know.
Like reunite.
There's a really great organization here called the Society for the Encouragement of Arts, and they have done some really great things in bringing people together and having these important conversations. Not the youth so much.
Yeah.
I've been really championing people asking teens, what do you think? Where is your Gloucester?
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody who's in City Hall right now, frankly, they're probably going to be dead in about 30 years. And then what?
Yeah.
Right? But we have no youth on any committees involved with the city. We have no youth involved in...
Well, they actually have a youth Gloucester Council, which is, they're fighting tobacco right now. I don't know.
Right.
It's a big thing.
The health...
Yeah.
The health program, right?
I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
Kreitman? Caitlin Kreitman? Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, that's the one who runs Gloucester U along with Samantha Whitney,
that's
who's a
so
librarian at school.
Oh, that's so
great.
They
run the Gloucester U at the high school, and Caitlin's amazing. I love her. I know
really,
her
really
like
great.
personally because I used to be with the youth council, but
yep.
She's awesome, and for her to like give this opportunity to kids who are my age and younger, is amazing.
It's huge, and there are those of us in the community that are reaching out. I'm talking about at the city level. Yeah. I think we need to have, I mean, what would you think if there was a youth seat on every council, on every commission, city council even? Like they reserve 2 seats for young people to start grooming our youth for leadership.
Not only that, but it would show the youth that like this is what real life is. This is what's going to happen.
That's right.
If you want to do this, this is what's going to happen.
And we care about your input.
Yeah.
You're valued. You're wanted.
Yeah.
Right? We want to hear your feedback.
We should want to show them what it's going to be like because no one's going to know unless they see it or hear about it. They're not going to know what it's like until they're in that position.
What do you love about Gloucester?
What I would have to say the people.
Yeah.
And the scenery. That's what I like. Not all people. Most of the people.
Right. Yeah, we are the island of misfit toys after all. Yeah, okay. But we coexist fairly. You know, one of the things that I appreciate about Gloucester is that even if I hate all your guts, if you need me, I'm there for you without question.
Trust is...
And I've lived all over the world. I've lived all over this country. And this may be the first place where I've seen it so beautifully held, this sort of understanding that, you know, everyone carries their bag of stones. Yeah. And there's a deep sense of community and understanding. The Open Door is amazing. And the Grace Center is amazing in what they do. Action is amazing in what they do to support people locally. And I think we're onto something. I want to hear from your generation. I want to hear from the millennial generation. Where is your Gloucester? What do you think the challenges are? What would you like to see change or improve?
There's a lot of things I would like to see changed,
but like name the top 3.
I don't know. I'd like to see it be cleaned up a little bit. I know we don't have that much money, but I'd like to see it be cleaned up. There's a lot of trash in different places. Some places are more destroyed than others.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see it cleaned up and be the Gloucester it used to be. And not the Gloucester it is. And I'd also like to see the kids having more of a voice. Yeah. Having more opportunities. Because, I mean, I've been here for my whole life.
Yeah.
And I've been to every store, done every activity you could possibly do here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they should make that expand. Like, different events. I know we don't have a lot of money, but I'm saying, like, different events that the kids could do that won't be destructive, that won't have a bad outcome. Because there's a lot of kids that will ruin it for kids who actually want to do stuff.
I think the grown-ups find the same problem here. But
there's a lot of kids that will ruin it. And another thing we need is help for those kids.
That's right.
Help for those kids who...
You are a Gloucester girl, see? I mean, there's always that desire to help people who, not judging them, saying
we all have problems.
These kids need help. There's obviously something missing.
No, I don't want to blame it all on them, but
it's
also their parents' fault for not being the parents they should have been.
Or even society.
Because I look at how I was brought up compared to how other people were brought up, and there's so many differences, and I'm like, but don't you know this? Don't you know how to do this? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what did your parents teach you? And maybe their parents don't know, and their parents don't know, and it's an endless chain.
Well, that's a great point, and that's one of the reasons that we're doing Talk It Up More with Kids, because I think it's really important that our adult community hear from our youth to say, hey, these are the tools that we need for support, and, there's a great need for parent education out there. You need a license to drive a car, but anybody can have a kid, and there are no books there are self-help books and workshops and things like that, but you're not trained in parenthood. And I think it comes naturally to some people. And
another thing that should be changed is the school. There's a lot of things that I know now that I didn't know going into high school.
Yeah.
Like, I never knew how to write a check or taxes,
life skills, basic
life
skills.
All these things, money, work. I never knew any of that. They don't teach you that. They don't teach you any of that.
They don't, and that's...
They don't teach you how to do your taxes. They don't teach you what taxes are. They don't teach you what you need to do at a bank. We have a bank at our school, but there's a certain class for that. I think it should be recommended in all classes, included in all classes, because not everyone's going to know, and there are people who their parents don't even know, haven't even written a check in their life, and
or crossed the bridge.
How are they going to know? If their parents don't even know.
So there's a great need for life skills.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of things I still don't know that I should need to know, but school's not going to give me that information. I have to learn from others.
So we started something. We're more than a theater company, and one of the things that we really strive to be is a mentorship force in this community for our younger population, to say everything is possible and ask the question, what do you need? What do you feel that you need in order to give you the best toolkit that you can have for your life? And so we started a youth arts conservatory lab, which is a gathering of 14 to 21-year-olds who know in their soul they belong in specifically the arts, but that could transcend into photography, that could transcend, my phone keeps going off. That could, go into, there's an artistic component to every career. I don't care if you're a trash collector or a teacher or a project manager or a cop, there is a creative process that's involved. And so what I'm offering, and we'll make this a little mini commercial, to all the youth of this community, is to come this summer. Find a day that you're not working, or that you're just, out there just sort of floating and pondering life. What do you want to do? Come sit on the beach or under a tree with us, and let's talk life skills. Let's talk about what's real out there. Let's talk about, what to expect out in this crazy world. I know
that's another thing that's great about the police program is
Yeah.
I would have never known any of that, anything they do, unless I took this program.
And that's an opportunity for people in this community, organizations like the youth leadership group around health issues, like the youth police group, right?
There's yoga, there's anime. There's actually a recycling one that teaches you how to live without damaging the environment.
That's so beautiful, because there's not enough education out there around these things.
And I think Caitlin and whoever's helping her coming up with this is amazing. They should have this in every high school. I would highly 100% recommend these programs. Not even just the police one. Every single one of them. They're all awesome.
Great. Well, we are a small community. We're an island and somewhat isolated from everybody else, but we have an opportunity then, I think, to be a lab for the development of better. How do we do better as a society, as a community? And we can become a model for other communities. Programs like Gloucester U, programs like the Conservatory program, right? And the Youth Health Organization, we can be a model for other communities of how to do better. How do we get more young people to engage and show up, do you think? I know you don't have a broad social circle, but...
I don't know, because, I mean, just putting up flyers and having it in the newspaper isn't really going to do things, because kids our age
they don't read
really
flyers
want
anyway, yeah.
They don't really, they think it's, oh, that's stupid, I don't want to do that. I think social media is the best way.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, social media is the best way to go, because that's where kids are.
Cool.
All the time.
Yeah.
Coming from I'm always on my phone.
That's amazing. Well, people tell me too, all the time. They don't like to get on Facebook because it's so much information.
It's so drama filled.
And drama filled, and there's a lot of bullying happening, cyberbullying.
That's another part with the social media.
Huge.
But I feel like a way to interact with the kids is to go directly to their source.
Meet them where they live.
Yeah.
Right?
Basically.
Go into the belly of the beast.
Don't send them mail. Don't send them flyers.
Right.
Message them.
Yeah. Message them. Will you help me with that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, we're so excited to have this conversation, Malia. Thank you for spending the last 20 minutes with me. This is great. It's great for you. It's great for us. It's great for Gloucester that you're here and that you're willing to come and talk. Tell other people about what we're doing here.
Okay.
And if you think that there's somebody who I should interview that would have a great message for our adult community specifically, and the mayor and others are going to see this. So let's get you guys involved.
All right, cool.
All right, we'll take Gloucester. All right?
All right. Cool.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week on Talk It Up More.